Have you ever got offended at God? I have, more than once. And I think if we'd be honest, we would all admit to that at one time or another, at least in our life, we've gotten offended at God. Well, I read something the other day in Matthew 11 where Jesus was answering the disciples of John when he sent them to Jesus to ask if he was the one or should they expect another. And Jesus answered him with all the things that he'd done. And then at the end of that, he says, and go tell John that blessed is he who is not offended in me. And I never saw it quite the way I saw it the other day, is that he's saying there's a promise from the Lord that there is a blessing if you'll not be offended. If you can go through whatever you're going through right now and not get offended at God, if you can just trust his character, even when you don't understand what's going on, you don't understand the circumstances, and it looks like God has deserted you, and the devil is screaming in your ear that God doesn't care and that he's left you high and dry, threw you down the way like a hot rock and all. Well, if you can go through that and not get offended, the Lord says there is such a blessing for you if you can trust my character right in the midst of not hearing my voice or seeing an answer or understanding why. And that is huge. That is huge. If we can go through life and not be offended at God over the things that we don't understand, I have found that there is a blessing on the other side. There was a time in my life to where I had bought this little farm back in the Ozarks, and I was a tither, I was a giver, and I'm telling you what, everything that could go wrong was going wrong. I mean, I was blowing tires, I blew an engine, I was hauling cattle and working colts, and everything that I did was not paying off. And I knew that God would come to my rescue because, and he didn't in that situation. Actually, he did, but he didn't the way I thought that he should. And I lost my farm, and I was forced out of that neck of the woods. And you know what? What I didn't realize until years later was he was literally answering a cry of my heart to walk after him in a calling of God. And I couldn't do it while I lived back there. He had to move me out from where I was. But I was offended for a while. I was hurt terribly for a while. The Lord has promised us, though, there's going to be times that he's not going to talk. You're not going to hear his voice. And he's going to let you and me go through things that we don't understand. And it's going to feel like God is nowhere around. But he has promised that if we'll not get offended in him, there's a blessing on the other side. And even though I did get offended, but the whole time I was saying, God, I don't know what's going on. But I started saying, I trust you. I trust you. And I'm living in the blessing of that now. And I'm so thankful that the Lord moved me out of where I was and brought me into what I want. But I didn't see it at the time. Whatever you're going through, whatever you don't understand right now, trust God, because there's a blessing in it if you'll trust him and not get offended. This is Crystal Lyons, another Cowgirl Logic.